The Buddhist concept of affliction by greed includes sensuality, lust, desire, craving, or any attachment to a sensory object. The Buddha taught that greed, hatred, and ignorance are 3 hindrances on our path to nirvana, but the 3 cannot be separated. Greed is simply the desire of what we don't have. Hatred is the aversion to what we don't desire, and ignorance is the illusion that we can ever get what we desire without also getting what we don't. Colloquially, we call it wanting to have the cake and eat it too. When we put ourselves in the middle of an impossible separation of reality like that, we create our own suffering, making enlightenment impossible to achieve. Wanting is rooted in the feeling that we are somehow less of a person without certain things. We wrongfully believe that we need to have what someone else has in order to be the person we wish to be. The key is to not be so driven and affected by likes and dislikes, or as I call it, the world according to me syndrome. The truly rich are not the ones who have everything that they are constantly afraid to lose, but those who don't want anything and therefore have nothing to fear. Be that as it may, it is not possible to not want anything. When we're hungry, we want food, for example, and I think the determining factor in what is considered reasonable or greedy is how much food, for one, and at what expense to others are we willing to get what we want. The Buddha separated desires into 2 categories, wholesome and unwholesome. Meeting our basic needs is wholesome and reasonable, while unwholesome desires are born from harmful attachments that are so appealing to us, we might reach or strive for what we want even if it causes pain to another. Ultimately, I don't believe anyone truly wants to cause pain to others. We just overlook doing it when we are blinded by greed. The key is to base our actions on wholesome desires rather than harmful greed. This is why Buddhism is a practice of discernment, if nothing else. It's easy to spot greed out in the world, but if we are mindful, we can spot it in our own thoughts and actions as well. Once we are aware of it, we can start to turn the volume down. Simply put, when you want less, you suffer less. When you want more than enough, your greed causes suffering to yourself and to others. And the reason we have these discussions is to minimize our self-inflicted anguish. In Zen Buddhist monasteries, we chant every morning, greed, hatred, and ignorance rise endlessly, I vow to abandon them. This means greed will always present itself as an option. The practice is to recognize it for what it is, seductive but destructive.
Pieces of paper, numbers through an electronically mediated interface that tells you what something is worth, that tells you what something is worth. We imbue currency with meaning. It only works if we all believe that it works. The most fascinating aspect of this creative act, the ontological designing that's taking place here, is that everything that we designs us back. Think about that. We create this currency and we say, this is worth this much. Once we ascribe that meaning to that, then that takes on a life of its own that can actually, in turn, change behavior. You can actually offer people units of this arbitrary invented thing called money, and people will do real things. They'll engage actual physical acts in the world. Money can actually prime our brains. And just fondling paper bills can actually make us feel more independent, but also less compassionate. I mean, that's kind of scary. In so many ways, money rules the world. And sometimes it's good to sit back and realize, hey, look, we decided it. We created that. It came out of our brains. Money is ultimately human invention. To quantify quality with money, we decide, we compare, we discern the worth of something or someone. Collectively, it sets the bar of what has value.